Hey, hi guys, welcome back to another video. And as we already discussed, right, we are focusing towards Python and advanced stuff. So our next topic will be file operations. Okay, so I hope everybody knows, right? File operation means usually that the manipulation that I do with any files. It can be text file, it can be Excel file, it can be CSV file or PDF file for that matter. Okay, so these are the different files that we use to interact day to day life, right? So every time or every day, these are the files that we usually interact. Okay, so among these, the our focus will be more on the basic data file. What was that? Dot txt text file, the text document. Because as we already seen in most of the topics, right, what is very important, sticking with the basics. Okay, so we need to know the basic structure of this file manipulation so that when you go to the higher level of files like CSV and Excel, it will be very easy. So the focus for today's class will be on text file. Okay, so the next point, when I say file operation types, usually what is the basic one? Reading a file, writing a file, or appending. So what is the difference between write and append? I'll tell you later. This is a basic file operation. On top of it, we're gonna see few more file operations like read plus and write plus also. That's all together one. Okay, and there is a concept called context manager, especially during this file operation. Python has introduced a concept called context manager. So I'm going to explain you in detail about this context manager, why this is needed and what is the purpose of this and what we're going to get because of this. Okay, and then file manipulation. Manipulation in the sense, when I do read, when I do write, when I do append, how do I do it, right? The way I structure as my code is what I'm going to teach you in this manipulation part. And the folder selection, it's quite a deviation from the file operation but very important. So usually what happens when we write any file operation, we just give the file name only. Okay, but it is not the case when you go for project, right? Where in project you may have to select a specific folder to save a file, to write a file, or whenever you want to open a file, you should not open by giving the path as a form of a static data. So dynamically you have to select the folder, select the file. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to help you in doing a bit of GUI, okay, using a concept called Tkinter. Okay, so using Tkinter concept, I'm going to help you out people in doing a little, right, GUI operation. And the very important thing is that when I write or read any file, especially when I write a file, I should always have the timestamp attached along with my file, so that whenever people see the file, they can able to see when this has been created or what was the operation is all about. Okay, so these things are the prime focus for today's class or today's this specific video. And I'm going to explain in detail for each and every part that I've mentioned over here. Okay, so let us go back to the idle as we always do. Okay, so what is the first thing? Any object. So file object. Okay, so what is the next thing? You have to do the open. This is the default function for doing any file related operation. Open. What I have to open? Any specific file. So let me keep it as dhoni.txt followed by the mode of operation. What kind of operation I'm going to do? Read, write, append, whatever it is. So for the first few things, I'm going to take you through the write operation. So put W within a quote. So that's it. So an object has been created for this file opening, as simple as that. Now what you have to do? I have to write onto the specific file. Correct. So what I have to do? File dot obj dot write. So this is the write function. So let me add some content. This is my first file operation. So I have this content. Okay. Now what is the next thing? Whether it is a DB or any file operation, when you open any file or when you open any DB, the ultimate mandatory thing that you people have to make sure that is you close the same. Okay, so you need to close the file object. File object dot close. So this is what the basic operation. Okay. So when I write these three lines of a code, there are few things that I want you people to keep in mind. First, you might be wondering, sir, you're trying to write onto a specific file called dhoni.txt. It doesn't mean that dhoni.txt is already available in my system. If yes, what will be the folder that I can have this file? First of all, First of all, when you don't specify any path, look at this. I just straight away mentioned like dhoni.txt. Correct. So when you don't specify any path, it will go and store in the current directory. Current directory in the sense the directory that you're running your current Python file. That is what your current directory. Fine. So these are two things. So it will be running on the current directory. The next thing, if I want to write, do I need to have the Donita text already in my system? Definitely not. There is not even a single necessity to keep this file already. So the beauty of file operation is that if I mention any specific file, usually what happens is that it will go and check the specific folder. If that file is already exist, it will write on top of the file. Point number one. Point number two, if there is no such file, if there is no such file, it will create a one. So what happened in this case, we don't have any such file. If you want, I can show you by opening this. Okay, so desktop. So I'm gonna do this in this folder. This is my folder. This is where I'm running my file. But as of now, there is no dhoni.txt. Okay, let me run. Output will be empty because you're not doing the operation. You're not doing any process to get the output at the screen, but you're doing some process. So let us open the same folder. Now you can see a folder has been created. I mean, a file has been created in the same name which I mentioned. When I open, you can see the content is clearly visible in this text file. So this is the basic write operation. Okay. When you do this kind of a write operation, we should always make sure that we correct the basic things. We correct the basic always. That is very important. Without the basic, going towards the higher level of learning is absolutely no use. What was that? Now I have three lines of code, and there are three things which I'm trying to put manually. What was that? Text file. Now the text file, I mean file name, mode of operation, and also the content. So what happened? All these three are in a static. That means I'm already mentioning within my code. You should always avoid this, right? You should write the code in such a way that it will be very much a generic. Okay. So what you can do, you know it, right? How to get the data dynamically in Python using input function. Input of enter the content. That's it. So here, instead of you writing static data, you just pass this variable over here. That's it. Now let me go to the file and open the file. There you see. Now it is contained the latest of data. Okay. Now what I have did, I just altered my code in such a way that I don't give the data statically every time. So to the text file. Correct. Dhoni.txt is also something that I already given statically. So sometime I may use a new file. Okay. So this also I should avoid. So I should do this file name. Okay. So what I have to do? File name is equal to input of enter your file name. That's it. So when you run, it will ask you the file name. So let me keep it as dhoni.txt. Enter. Now it is asking content. That's it. So close every time opening newly, because you don't keep the file as it is because it won't do dynamic changes. Close the file. Now I'm opening it again. There you see it contains latest of data. I'll come back to that. Okay, as of now, what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to keep my basic code so dynamic. What is the next thing you should do? File operation mode. So file operation mode. Same thing. Input of, enter your file operation mode. See, this is how you should elaborate your code. So now what you have to do, instead of you putting it W, you have to use this one. Now look at this from, let me add a line number. I'm sorry, from line number 5 to line number 11, it is completely a data. It is completely a dynamic data. Nothing is added statically. Okay, so when I run, now look at this. It will asking me to select a file name. I can enter dhoni.txt. Next, it will ask me the mode of operation, W. Now look at this. What happened? By mistake, I given this double quote over there. Correct. So this is the problem. So these are the few things that I always want you people to make sure. You might have felt that everything goes are perfect, but what happened? When I have when I add a double quote here, there is already a double quote over there, so it got mixed up. So what you're supposed to do, the file name should be, you should retrieve the file name in the form of blank. You should always retrieve the file blank. Okay, you should not retrieve the file with the double quotes. So first of all, what you have to do, you have to check if file name dot ends with double quote or file name dot starts with double quote. So you're writing, you're just making sure that when somebody by mistake enters a double quote onto the file, what you have to do it here. So you have to write in such a way that file name is equal to same variable I'm using. You can use this way also. Not necessarily that you have to create a new variable because it is coming hierarchically only. So file name dot strip of double quote. So what I'm telling, if people enters the file name with a double quote, either on the left side, that means either ends with or starts with. That's what the content here. I'm just asking it to strip that. So let us run. Look at this. Now it works without error because such a way that I have made my code. This is what very important, guys. Learning a code on the syllabus front is okay, right? But when you want to survive in IT industry, whenever you want to survive yourself into a larger project front, right? These are the few nuances that I want you people to understand. Okay, content. So something Sindhu. That's it. Close the file, open it. There you see. Output says Sindhu. Make sure that you always close the file. Now it works fine. Okay, now what happened? Look at this. There is something peculiarly created. Don't wonder too much. Why? Because When I about to get the file name, it's supposed to have a .txt. But on a rush, I didn't give the txt. So this also you should make a note of it. So look at this, the way I gonna modify that. Again, there is one more condition. Elif file name or what is necessary, you need to check whether the file name is ending with .txt. What is the necessary here? If the file is ending with a .txt, you can keep the file name as it is. If the file name is not ending with the .txt, then what is the thing that you have to do? You need to make sure that you strip that. You strip that. Okay. So now, okay. So what you do is that you need to check the same thing. If file name dot ends with, if file names ends with .txt, again I'm gonna do what? Strip that. What strip? R strip. R strip means only strip the right side. After stripping, finally what you have to do? File name is equal to file name plus .txt. So it's a generic statement. So you can do whatever you wish. If statement is something that I have written as per my wish, you can write in different way. I just given elif statement. There you can give some other statement. So now what happened? Either if I give or not, it is gonna consider that as a text file only. If I want to run, look at this. Dhoni W hello. So there is a Dhoni file and hello is the content. Okay. Now when I run again, if I Dhoni.txt, if I give, that time also it will properly work. But here what happened? Look at this. Now it created another file. It created another file with the name of Dhoni.txt itself. Why? Because I have given a txt here. So what is the problem here? It is considering everything as a txt. Okay. So now look at this. Look at this. This is what the problem. So initially what happened? Elif file name underscore ends with .txt. What we are trying to achieve here? I'm trying to check whether the file name ends with the .txt content. If it ends with the .txt content, what I'm doing? File name is equal to, this is what I showed out there. File name is equal to file.strip. So what happened? Now it will be stripped. So let me run again. Dhoni.txt W India. So it would have been in India here. Okay, so this is what very important. It might seems these are minute changes, but it plays a huge role. So now everything looks perfect. Okay, so this is just I want to reiterate the terms. Okay, so if you remember when I see the string operation, okay, so in the previous videos, I just given you those function, kind of a template. So now I'm trying to, use those functions so that you people will, come to know the orientation of those functions. Okay, each and every function that we seen in the previous videos, of course, will have an, application in your project. So some people will say that ends with start with is something that we don't normally use, right? So just to reiterate the term, it might use in this kind of a scenario. Okay, so of course I would have truncated this code in a shorter way, but these are the things that I want you people to practice it, how to get the data, how to do that all. You just keep in mind, but just for the rest of the explanation I'm going to take it very simple. You can use this but rest of the explanation I'm going to do it straight away. Okay. Okay, fine. So let me keep it as the same file only. Something onto the same file. I'm running, and when I open, it is having the latest data. So now what happened? The point to be noted here is that whenever I do the write operation, it is overriding the data. The previous content is getting overridden by the new content. It's very easy. Everybody will tell the answer. Yes, of course, you do the right operation, the data will be overridden. But as a technical person, you should be in a position to tell them why the data is getting overridden. Okay, look at this. I'm trying to run a new data like Pakistan, and I ran this. Output is empty. What I have to do? I have to go and see this content. Now it is Pakistan. Now I'm writing something. I did some content. Look at the cursor. Where my cursor is blinking, or my pointer is blinking at the last. That means at the letter A. Now I'm closing it. I'm opening it. Now where the cursor is blinking, it went back to the 0th index, first position. So because of this cursor existence only, every time I do the write operation, it is trying to write onto the place. Of course, how the data will write, guys, in a text file, it will write on the same no, same place where the cursor is blinking, right? So because of this cursor and pointer perspective only, the data is actually getting overridden whenever you do the write operation. Okay, that is one point. That's fine. I hope you would have got it. This is the reason why every time you do the right operation, the data is getting overridden. So what if I don't want the data to be overridden, but I want the data to be added along with the previous data? In that case, instead of a W operator, you can use A. A indicates append. Append means concatenate, merge it. Instead of you override, you merge it. Okay. So let me write a new content, something like this. Australia. I ran. When I open this file, they are using Pakistan is neighborhood, and then the next data is also getting appended, Australia. And so point is that whenever you do the write operation, the data will be always merged. Okay, so it will not be overwrite, because W is such case where whenever you do the write, it will do the overwrite. But here in A, when you put A as a mode of operation, it won't do the overwrite. Instead, it will merge the data. So if you want, you can add a new data also. Something. I ran. Let me go to the file, and I open the file. There you see the data is getting appended at the last. Okay, that's the beauty of append. Append means it won't overwrite. Now what happen? Append every time appends on a existing line only. If you want to that to happen in a new line, what you have to do? You can add this statement /n. Now let me write it some other data. Okay, something called south. There you see. Hereafter, the data will get appended one after the other. This is what the append operation. As of now, as per the agenda, what we see, two operations we see. File operation called write and file operation called append. What is the write does? Write, of course, writes the content onto the file, whatever I give. The problem with write is that every time you give the new content, the previous content will be overridden. That is the biggest headache that you have with the write operation. And just to make sure that the write doesn't overwrite the previous content, I am using A instead of W as a mode of operation. A means append. Append means what it is going to do? It is going to keep appending data, the new data with the existing data. Okay, and the point here to be noted is that both write as well as append works on the principle of pointers only. Okay, so when somebody asks you the question that why every time the write overrides the previous content, tell them it because of the existence of pointer or cursor. Since the cursor is always going back to the first index, as soon as I close, the next time I do the write operation, it is actually overriding because it's trying to start writing the content from the same line where the cursor is blinking. That's the point to be noted. When you do the A operation, what happens is that it will previously read the file and it will keep the cursor into the last available letter of the given file. That's the beauty of append. Okay, now this is how the data works, the file operation works. But the real problem, real challenge lies over here. Look at this. So I'm trying to have this data. What data? Donia takes this append operation south and down. Now, by mistake, I written a function which is not at all there. WRITE. I'm trying to write a new function. I'm trying to use a new function called write, which is not there. What will happen? Obviously, it is going to end up in an error. Straightforward error. No such file. So, what are the drawback that you see here? People might tell that your program got terminated. Absolutely fine. Yes. As soon as you get an error, that's how Python works. It is going to terminate the process. Fine. What is the next thing? I'm not sure whether the data was written. Of course, it would have written. The previous write return statement would have been there. But what happened? The close was not going to happen. Line number 32 will not execute. You know it, right? So Python executes the code sequentially, one after the other. So the problem is when one of the line got error, the next line will not get printed. So if it is other cases, that's fine. If it is error, then let that come and we can rectify. But in file operation, you cannot keep the file open for too long because then you are giving a space or giving a place for the hackers to come and have a role play over there. So what you're supposed to do, you have to make sure that this close always happens irrespective of whether you write or you don't write. That means whether the code is having error or non-error. Close should always happen. So to achieve this, there are two ways to do is one, exception handling that we're going to see in upcoming videos. Okay, the exception handling will take larger, a line of a code. But in file operation itself, we do have another concept called context manager. Again, I'm repeating context manager. Okay, what does the context manager does? It does the automated closure irrespective of whether there is an error or non-error in your code. That's it. Okay. So what you have to do? You have to do a slightest of changes onto your file. Look at this. Now, look, I'm going to just alter my line number 36. Look at this. With open. Same thing. But I'm additionally using with. Open means I have to give the file name. Dhoni.txt and followed by mode of operation. Instead of assigning a variable, you can use this syntax as file object colon. So obviously we're eradicating this line and this is the next line. That's it. So when I run this code, of course it is going to end up in an error because write is not at all a function. Either you do with the context manager or not with the context manager. If the function is not there in file operation, of course it is going to end up in error only. But the beauty here is that you might be wondering whether close was happened or not. So my thing is that no need to externally mention close here. That's the beauty of a context manager. What is the benefit that you get out of it? No need to mention any close manually. Either the code runs perfectly without error or with the error. It is not going to bother much. It will close the file automatically. So this is what the context manager. So whenever you do the file operation using this kind of a with operator, that is what we do call it as Context manager. What is the beauty that you get out of it? It auto closes the file. No need to externally write a line to close the file. So that's the beauty of this one. Right. This is context manager. Try to follow this context manager from now on. Hereafter, whatever the operation you do, try to follow this context manager stuff. So what is the thing that you get out of here? It will auto do the closure. Fine. Now what are the things that we seen till now? Write as well as append. What is the next operation? Read operation. So what is the first change that I have to do? Change that mode of operation R, and file content is equal to, use the object, file object dot read file content. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read from the file. Now you can expect the output in your Python shell. So when I run, you can see whatever is there in my specific file, it's getting displayed over in my Python file. That means what? Everything here. Whatever it is here, it is getting displayed over in my code. Okay, so let me do some changes for the better thing. Something like this. Okay, I am saving and closing. Now I'm trying to run the same code. So everything it prints. So the point to be noted here is that when you do the read operation, the data will be read, or data will be read in the form of string. If you have a doubt, you can do what? As usual, type check that. You can do the type check. So when you do the type check, it will return what was the output. It said string. Okay. Now, what this read usually do is that reads the complete content of your file from index 0 to last index. Okay. Now, I just given 4. What does it mean? It means only read me the first 4 character of my given file. There you see DHON. It is reading only the 4 characters. That is what point. That is the point that you need to understand. Okay. Now on to the same indent. I'm trying to use file content 2. So that variable is file content 2. And here I'm trying to have a normal read. So what will be the output, guys? Usually I see people do the mistake here. What they will think, at line number 46 it is going to read only 4 letter, whereas in line number 40 it is going to read the complete data. It is partially correct. Why? Because pointer or cursor availability. Because when what is the first statement that I given on line number 46? Read the given file till 4 data. It will read. So what happens if it reads? Cursor will be still blinking after the 4th line. Correct? Cursor will be blinking. So when you start giving the read again, it will start read from the place where the cursor is blinking. So obviously it will read the rest of the character. Whatever is already read will be read only. It will not get repeated because cursor. Every time cursor stays. So when you run, there you see. First only 4 character, and when I do the next read, it will read rest of the character. Okay, this is how read works. So you should be very careful. Next is read line. The basic thing with read line is that it reads line by line. What is read does? It reads the complete string unless until I specify a certain length to print or length to read. But here read line means only the first line. Read means complete data of your file, but read line means only the first line of your string. I mean your file. There you see Dhoni is, because Dhoni is the Dhoni is my first line of the given file. Okay, so what happens when you want to read the other line? Then you have to use another read line, one after the other. So file content to file content to. So when you run, there you see two datas got read. The important point that you need yourself get injected is that first line needs to be completely read so that the next read line will read the next one. But look at this. Look at this. So what I given? Read line of 2. I'm asking my file to read only 2 characters of my first line. So the first print will be DH only. Now the bigger question is that now I have a read line. Whether it will continue on the same line or it will go to the new line. Definitely it will continue on the same line only because the first line itself not yet completed. So what is the point of having the read line? The read line will read each and every line if the first line or the line which is reading is completely read. But here at line number 58, what I did, I'm asking my Python to read only the first 2 characters. If that was the case, my first line is still pending. The reading of my first line is still pending. So of course, it won't read all the content. Look at this. DH space ONI space IS space. That's it. The data is off read. That's the point that I want you people to have a note here. And again, this also gives or produces the result in the form of string only. Okay, and there is one last function called read lines. Read lines. So when you run, look at this. The first difference that you get with the read lines is that the output is in the form of list. That is the first thing. The next thing is that each and every line of your file has been accommodated as a separate content of your list. Each and every line. Dhoni is, Kohli was, Rohit will be, India always. Okay, that's how it works. And you can see slash n at the end of each and every word because it is actually moving towards the next line in your text file, right? So whenever it reaches the next line, it is taking this slash n as well. That's a read line. So read and read lines return the data in the form of string. Read lines actually returns the data in the form of list. Read is going to read the complete data of your file unless until I specify a special number. Read line also same thing, but read line means it takes the command line by line for whatever it is, right? To get the process to a complete stage, you need to complete a line so that it will go to next line. That you can see at line number 58. And line number 58, I'm trying to read a line but not the entire line, only 2 characters. So that means what? The rest of the character is not yet read. So when you use the next read line, it will continue from the same file and will stop on the first read line only. Okay. So these are the things that I want you people to keep in mind. Okay, whenever you do the read based operation. Now whatever you seen till now, okay, whether it is a read, whether it is a write, it is a single operation. Either you do write or either you do read. Now I'm going to do the mixture of both, read as well as write. That is what I'm going to do. So the operation will be W plus. W plus means read, write as well as read. So I'm going to do both at a time. First, what is the operation? Write operation. So file object dot write Asia. So what happened next? You need to read this file object dot read, and then you read the file content. So when I run, output is empty. Let me see, go and see the file. Yeah, the content which I written was over there. Wonderful. And what happens when I do the read? The read is not reading everything. If you doubt what is the reason, again the cursor. Now what happened? As soon as you write Asia, it would write like this, ASIA. Now where is my cursor is blinking? My cursor is actually blinking at last letter. So what is the command you given after the write? You asking to read. So when you ask the file operation to read the file, where it will read or where it will start reading, it will start reading from the place where its cursor is blinking. Where the cursor is blinking at the end of the A. What is after the A in your file? Nothing. So that's why output is empty. Okay. So whenever you do this kind of write plus operation, then it is your duty to make sure that you just alter a bit so that it works perfectly. What was the alteration? This one. As soon as you're done with your write, what you have to do? You have to use the seek method. If you wonder what was the seek method, I don't know how many of you noticed this. Whenever you work, whenever you see songs or movies on a player, any video player, at some time what happen? You need to go fast forward. Sometimes you have to go backward. So what you have to do? You need to keep your mouse over that pointers, the play things. It will highlight like seek. If you don't done or if you ever not witnessed this, then today go and see that it's a seek means what? Taking my cursor or taking my play to whatever the minute that I want to play it. Same thing here. So what I'm telling my file is that look, as soon as you do the write of this content Asia, what you have to do? Go back to the zeroth position. You are asking your cursor to go back to the zeroth position so that when you read, right, it will completely read. So when you run, there you see. Now the output is coming because I made a seek function. Seek means what? Asking a cursor to go back to the desired position. It is not necessary that you should always keep 0. You can keep any index of your wish, however, or whatever the read need to read. Okay, so where the read or how the read works. So it's up to you. But basically seek of 0 is what mandatory. That means you're making the cursor to go back to the 0th position. If there is a need where you want to keep the cursor in a specific position like 5th or 10th, you are free to add that. Okay. Now what happened to write plus? As usual, write always do the overriding only. Correct. So don't do that. Instead of write plus, you use a plus. There you see. It is reading and it is writing onto the file. At the same time, it is reflecting back to us as well. That means it is reading as well. That's the beauty of this particular function. Okay. Now, what is the next function? R plus. So what you have to do first? You need to read and then you need to write. Quite opposite. Here seek is not at all needed because R plus is similar to append operation. Now what is the 81st line? It is going to read the content. Whatever this content is there, it is going to read. So what when once it's done with the reading, what will happen? Cursor will be blinking at the last letter. Suddenly when you start writing, it will start writing from the same place where the cursor is blinking. So Russia will be automatically get appended. So when you do R plus kind of operation, there is no necessity for you to use any seek. Seek is especially used for write plus operation. Okay, that is specially mean for write plus operation. Here in this case, that is not especially needed. Okay, okay, so that's how it works. So for read plus, no need of seek. It will work or it will gonna act as an append function only. So there is no need to specify seek over there. Okay. So these are the minute, things that you need to be taken care because file operation is straightforward, right? Read, write, or do something. That's it. So these are the basic operation, and the way you have to manipulate is what matters. Okay. Now let us go back to the page 1. Now look at this. What is this? a write content. So using the only file, I'm trying to write a content, and content is Russia. On which folder this will be running? As I told, right, we don't have any other option that it's supposed to run on only the current folder. Current folder in the sense folder in which my Python file is running. That's how it works. There is no other option it will have. Fine. Now, if I want this Dhoni.txt file to be stored in some other directory, then what I have to do? I have to mention the directory over here. So I have to write like C drive, blah blah blah. But what is the point that we discussed earlier? When you write any program, it should be very much a dynamic. You should not keep any static. Imagine today you might be keeping a C drive, tomorrow it might change to F drive, at day after tomorrow it might go to E drive. So every time it might keep changing. So the folder selection should be dynamic. Okay. So in Python, there is a library called Tkinter. So let us keep this code away. We'll discuss the Tkinter for some time, and then I'll tell you how you can merge Tkinter with your file operation. There is a library called Tkinter. Tkinter is basically used for GUI, graphical user interface, or to drive Windows GUI. Windows GUI means, look at this, file, new file. So this is one dialog box, and when I want to do the save as, what happening? This is one dialog box. This dialog box is called save as dialog box. When I click on open, now what is this? This is file open dialog box. So what happened? Windows will have a default GUI. So we can use the Tkinter GUI, Tkinter library, either to create a complete design or to do this kind of a smallest driving, whether you can induce dialog boxes of Windows. So you can use Tkinter for both the purpose. So 90% people don't do design through Tkinter unless until it is very minimal, like one click button or login button or some sort of browse button, or if it is very simple design, then you can use Tkinter. But in order to do the complex design, it is very much advised that not to use Tkinter. Try go with some other design pattern. What you can do is that you can add that into Python. Okay, you can connect that with the Python. So humble request is that don't do too much of design using Tkinter, because it will take lot of time, right? So what is the decision that we made now? I'm gonna drive my Windows based file dialog boxes using the Tkinter. So I'm going to import another library from Tkinter. From Tkinter, import file dialog. So there is an inbuilt function called file dialogs as a part of Tkinter. What I did, I just imported that. Now look at this. Folder path is equal to file dialog dot ask directory. So this is the function. So when you run, folder path. So when you run this code, look at this. Look at this. Now it is asking you the folder to write this file. Now you can select any folder of your wish. I selected this folder. Now what will happen when you do the write operation? It will write onto this specific file, a specific folder of your wish. So that's the beauty of a Tkinter. Okay. So and one more thing is that Tkinter will always driven by the root directory. So that's why when you run F5, there you see there is a small Tkinter icon that gets created. This is what we call it as driver file. It drives your file. It actually ignites your dialog boxes. So this is not needed. This Chota box is not at all needed for us, right? Because this is just a driver file. It's supposed to happen at the background, but unfortunately because of the evolution, it appears on the screen as well. But that doesn't look so good, right? So look at this. So let me create as Tkinter, some variable. Tkinter root is equal to Tkinter dot tk. T is in capital letter, K is in small letter. This tk is that particular dialog box. So what I'm telling, as soon as you drive my file dialog, I'm asking the tickinter to withdraw that small icon. So when I run, look at this. Now I'm getting only the main screen, not the small dialog box. So what I'm doing, I'm withdrawing the root. Root means the driver, file or a driver tool. So now what I have achieved? I have achieved what I supposed to do. What was that? Selection of folder. I selected a folder. What is the next process? As I did in line number 86, if you want, I can cut paste here. What is the next step here? This file should be merged with this folder. Merge means this folder structure like C drive slash user slash document. Then you need to put another slash and you have to put dot dhoni.txt. You need to basically merge the folder with the file. You can merge this kind of a folder with the file manually, but just by putting a single code, but that will end up in lot of issues, problems. So what you people have to do is that you should use a special library that is available in Python. What was that? Import OS. What it is going to do? It is going to do all the operating system related activity. Writing a file, making a directory, deleting a directory, copy a file, changing a file from one to another. So this kind of a process this will do. Import.os. So why I imported this additional library is that to merge your path with your file. Look at this. File name is equal to, first what was that? Folder path. So os dot path dot join. You're going to join your folder with your text file dhoni.txt. That's it. Then you can use the file name here. You might be argue with me, sir, why I'm taking this longer route just to add a folder with my file? I could have easily put some single class and I can use. Of course you can use, but it will differ. At certain servers, the folders will be specified with a double slashes, not on a single slash. So what happened? There is a case where you have to keep doing the changes onto the file. But to keep the code very generic, to keep the code to work in any principle, this is what we're supposed to do. OS that path that join. That means you have to keep this specific structure to add or to concatenate the folder with that of the file you want to use. So now I'm selecting document. It prints the document. But what happened after selecting the document? The dhoni.txt will be merged and it would have been written with the content. So when I open document, look at this. Look at the time. 5:21. Current time. And we open, there you see Russia. So this is what the ask directory file dialog box. So now indirectly what happened? You learned about the tickinter as well as OS. Learn means you started. It doesn't mean that you learned the core concept. This is one part of the learning. So now what happened? This is to write a file. Write a file means what happened? You need to just select the folder only. There is another file. For example, you want to read a file. Read means what? The file will be already available. Then you have to use some other directory. Like ask directory, you have to use some other functions. File as open, something like that. Okay. So this is how you should keep changing the data and you can use it up. Read, you cannot use the same directory. Guys, ask directory is only to write the file. If you want to read a specific file from random folder, you should use another function called file dialog dot. I think it's ask file as open, I guess. You can use that and you can do the write operation. And why these OS got imported? Because I want to make sure that every part of my code remains very much dynamic. So what I planned is that I need to merge the folder that I select with that file I have, so that it ends up with without any trouble. Even if I run this specific program in any environment, it will automatically get merged, and the rest of the thing is whatever we discussed till now. Okay, if time permits, right? I thought of telling you about the daytime stamping, but As the time is ticking off for this specific video, we can see the date time stamping in a separate video. Okay, or when we do the DB related videos, you can see that I'll be incorporating those date time or time based manipulation over there. Okay, so keep practice it, guys. So keep practice it. These are the few nuances that I want everybody to learn. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Thanks so much for listening, and make sure that you keep track of all the previous videos and upcoming videos as well. Till then, take care and bye bye. We'll see you in next videos, guys.